9 with psychic therapist and spiritual teacher Vincent Genna, MSW. Revitalize your health and wellness. Finally, fulfill your dreams and passions. Secure your abundance and financial freedom. Fire up your unconditional love life and intimacy. The back 9 is not about the years you have left. It's about the best years yet to come.
Welcome and thank you for joining me at the back 9. I'm Vincent Genna, your host, psychic therapist, and spiritual teacher. And yes, we're here to talk about the best years of your life yet to come. And we're going to help you get them that way. Yes. It's not that you've had bad years before you and originally in your early days, or maybe you have. I don't know, some people have had some bad luck. Some people have had really good fortune, right? Everything has been great. You've been wonderful in relationships and your health is vibrant and fantastic, and financially you're set. There's always more. There's always greater than. Carl Rogers was a humanist psychologist who died a few years ago. And he theorized that most people would constantly strive for moving forward in their lives if they didn't have social constraints or environmental constraints holding them down. Now, the environmental constraints can be anything from your past, your stories that you experienced while you were growing up, anything related now, health issues, anything along those lines, anything that could be negative, holding you back. If that was all released, for the most part, he believed all humans will constantly want to move forward. So no matter where you are in your life now, at 50, 55 and above, successful, not so successful, or right in the middle, there's always room to go forward, because that's who we are. We are unlimited beings. We haven't even tested or been able to measure how far we can go forward. Well, we can keep going forward until we go forward to the other side, okay? But until that time comes, there's constant possibilities. And that's what this show is all about, are the possibilities for you to thrive, to go further in your life. And today we're going to be talking about relationships, the big R word. Whoa, relationships. And it's really interesting that we talk about relationships because unfortunately with what's been going on with the coronavirus, it's actually strained a lot of relationships. It's even caused breakups. See, what happens when you're together with somebody, we have human defense mechanisms that can get in the way. If you've listened to any of my other shows, you've heard me talk about those defense mechanisms. It's because the two highest functions of the human brain is to keep us alive and to protect us. That's how it keeps us alive. Well, it protects us physically as well as emotionally. The way it protects us emotionally is by creating defense mechanisms. So what it does with the defense mechanisms, it'll create a belief for you to hold on to that makes you feel better about yourself and about your life. Now, why do I bring that up? Because the most natural thing on the face of the earth today, or since the beginning of time, are relationships. Because we're social beings. We are drawn to each other automatically. As a matter of fact, the reason why you see the trouble in the world today is because we're so drawn to each other, but because we've got all of these blocks and we're disconnected from our higher source, we're not able to give each other what we're really striving for: love and attention, care and consideration, compassion. So people are lashing out in protecting themselves. So even though we're social beings and we're drawn to each other automatically, believe it or not, relationships are still not the most prevalent thing in the world today. I was just looking at statistics, and for those that are 55 and above, now I do have to give you credit. I do have to give you credit, because from 55 and above, 58%, basically, this statistic was taken in 2019, and give or take, a percentage here or there, because it's really difficult to get true numbers. We can only get the numbers of those who report on some of those surveys, right? 58% of those 55 and older are married, which is great. 58%. Back when I was going for my degree, which wasn't too long ago, back in 1999, 58% of all marriages ended in divorce. Now, the reason why that statistic of 58% being in a marriage, 60% being in a relationship, it doesn't ever specify how many relationships there were prior, how many marriages there were prior. And you and I know today, chances are, there are a lot of people in that 58% that are married, or 60% that are in a relationship, that have been in more than one. Yeah, absolutely. I know that's a very high statistic when it comes to marriage and relationships. That's saying something. The number of people in a relationship should be closer to 80 and 90% if we're social beings. There's a problem there, people. But here's the point. There are many older people that I work with that aren't in any relationship, or are asking me if their relationship is going to end, how to fix it, what they should do, or if their relationship is going to last. So people are still asking me about relationships, but we can work on it, you and I, to make sure that, one, if you're not in a relationship, you attract the right one. Two, if you are in a relationship and it's teetering, how to fix it. And three, if you're in a relationship that's good, how to maintain it. Because you know what? You deserve to experience unconditional love in your life. Everybody deserves that. But especially now, at this time in your life, there are definitely things to do that are different than a 30-year-old or a 20-year-old would do, even a 40-year-old. At 55, 60, 70, 80, 85, you are breathing. That means you can be in a relationship. Now, women, I want to talk with you directly for one moment. I'm going to tell you a phenomenon, or a phenomenon. Yeah, it's a phenomenon. Phenomena is a lot of them, and there's a lot of phenomena that go on with women as well as men. But this particular phenomenon that I'm talking about is, you can go on, many women can go years, if not for the rest of their lives, being single and alone. Whether their spouse died at a young age or any age, whether they got divorced, the majority of women can stay single. As a matter of fact, I've heard many women turn around and say, at this stage in my life, I don't need any extra worries. I'm happy just being on my own. Well, that is one of those number 2 defense mechanisms to protect you. Because the truth is, no, you can't. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross was a famous psychologist who did the majority of work of our understanding today of death, dying, and bereavement. She pioneered all of that research and study out there. And one of the things that she discovered in her research, which is vital to know, and I was a hospice social worker, so I know this to be true and a fact. And you'll know it too as soon as I state it. What is the number one concern all humans have about dying? The number one concern. No, it's not how you're going to die. No, it's not about how much money you're going to be able to leave to your children. Has nothing to do with that. You know what it has to do with? Dying alone. That is the number one concern people have about dying in the world today. That says something. That says something. If we don't want to die alone, I can assure you we don't want to live alone. But women, you get used to it. Men are not like that. Guys, this is a majority. It's not everybody. So don't start emailing me and say, oh, that wasn't me. I wasn't like that. This is the majority. Men, while your spouse is on the way out, either through a divorce or death, you've got the other one waiting on the way in. Because men cannot be alone. They don't like being alone. There's a reason for that, and we'll talk about that momentarily. But women, you get used to being alone. Why is that? Why can women be alone? I'm telling you now why women can be alone. You're used to it. The way women were socialized through life is, what did the men do when they went to work? They went to work. They left the household. The women were home alone most of the day, taking care of the children, helping other neighbors, going shopping, cleaning the house. There were no men there. The men didn't get back until 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, whatever their work day was. So women were very used to being alone. And then if you're in a relationship that's bad, that turns out bad, and it's taxing, and it's cumbersome, and it's annoying, and you're the one doing all the cooking, and you're preparing, and you're taking care of your husband when he's sick, like you have to take care of one of the kids because he's a big baby too then, right? Now all of that is gone, and even though you might have enjoyed aspects of it, you're now looking at yourself as a bachelorette again. And you're watching the TV show, and you're going, yeah, that's me. I don't need to keep them, but I'll just play with them when I get them. And so you look at your lives as being okay, being alone, but that is a lie. That is a protection. It should never be that you feel better being alone than with a companion. One that is worth being with, one that you enjoy, one that you can share your life with. And men, you don't need them coming in and out either. You need the right one, and it's all based on you. You are the one that attracts. You are the one that determines who's going to come into your life. And it's all based on what you believe about yourself. So we're going to be doing more shows about this, because I wanted to just talk about briefly why you might be alone. And then we're going to talk on another show next week on how to change that, okay? But it's your past that has caused the relationship that is most natural not to work today. And you've attracted the wrong person to you, and your expectation about that attraction was that it wasn't going to work, and I'm talking about all unconscious expectation. So something that is so natural went awry a long time ago, primarily because of the attitudes and beliefs you have about yourself. So we got some questions coming up when I get back from the break. But remember, always tune into Bloomer Boomer if you have a question, and if you want to know what the next show is going to be and when it's going to be, just go to bloomerboomer.com. That's going to give you all those answers. But be sure that you come back so we can talk about how to turn around and attract the right partner in your life, because you deserve that now, especially at 55 and above, at 80, at 90, as long as you're breathing, you deserve unconditional love. All right, I'm Vincent Genna. Hang in there. We've got answers to your questions coming up right after this.
Vincent will be back in a moment to answer your questions, your concerns, and you can be part of the discussion. Go to bloomerboomer.com to take part or just watch and listen.
Thank you for joining us today. And if you are just joining us now, we've been talking about relationships today on the Back Nine show, and how at this point in your life, you can learn how to have the best relationship ever that you've ever had. It was William Shakespeare that said, better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. And what he meant by that was, in order to experience the fullest part of who you are as a being, especially being a spiritual being, you need to experience unconditional love. And it's okay if you've not had the right ones earlier, or if they've not worked out, but they can. Because let me tell you something, having been married for 42 years and being with the same woman for 47 years, I know something about marriage, and I know something about bliss when you have and you work at the marriage the right way. So we're going to talk more about that in another show. But right now, I want to get to a couple of questions out there. So I'm going to be asking that Andy in the sky. Andy out there, are you there with me today?
Hey, Vincent, great stuff, and I'm really happy to share some of the questions that we have here.
Absolutely, go right ahead.
All right, well, Betty, she tells us that she has a lot of chronic pain, and she wants to know, how do you stop it, and then how do you get rid of it?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, see, Betty, I'm getting from you that you're up there in age. You're probably around my age, a little bit older, and you've been dealing all your life with a lot of pain. Well, what I'm feeling, and for everybody to understand pain, remember, I teach spiritual aspects to who we are. And everything that happens to us physically is actually caused by our emotional state of being and belief systems deep down inside our core. So this is what I need you to do, Betty. First of all, to stop, and then to permanently relieve all the pain from the future. You're going to have to do a little work, and it's the hardest work of all. You're going to have to go within, and you're going to have to tap into all the anger you have in your life. Anger completely translates into physical pain, no matter where the physical pain is. I don't care if you've had broken bones. I don't care if you've had a hip replacement, neuropathy, fibromyalgia. When you have pain, if you think about it this way, what would happen if you clenched your muscles like this? Oh my goodness, you're holding on for the longest period of time, right? Oh, everything would start cramping up, wouldn't it? Okay, well, believe it or not, holding on to anger is like this under the surface. So maybe outside you're like this. Oh, hi. And underneath you're like this. There's an expression here in North Carolina or in the South that I can always tell if someone is like this underneath. It's when they say, bless your heart. Now, most people show their anger. Well, believe it or not, a lot of people who show their anger and release their anger aren't necessarily going to feel the same type of pain as somebody who's holding it in. So, Betty, go within. I know there is some anger from your past that's relating to your dad and some with mom. And so you want to go talk with little Betty again, bring her to the surface, bring her out and resolve and forgive and let go of the angers. And as you do that, you're lightening up and oh my gosh, you're going to feel completely different. Because when you release after going like this, you're like this. Wow. Matter of fact, there is a relaxation exercise where you are made to tense your muscles starting from your legs and your feet, and then you work your way up and you tense and then release, and then tense and then release, and your body becomes so relaxed. So just think about that. Letting go of your anger. The blood can flow through you to those places that hurt, and it'll start going away as you let go of the anger in your life. And that goes for everybody. Thank you very much for your question, Betty. All right there, Andy, hit me with another one.
Okay, this is from a guy. His name is Bill, and it looks as though he's thinking of moving, and he's asking you, what do you see me now as moving my residence? Do you understand what that?
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, it's really interesting. I'm glad, Bill, thank you for that question also, because as we get older, we're also afraid to move, make moves. Look, I'm 65, just got onto Medicare. My wife turned 65 in December. We just decided to up and sell our home and move to another location. Well, it is taking so much effort to work on this house, to clear it, to get it ready to sell, because now you got to stage everything. So we're putting some stuff in storage, some stuff we're not putting in storage, clear everything else out. Take the stuff down from the attic that you've been hoarding for the past 30 years. Holy cow, I didn't even use 3/4 of it. What the heck is it doing in my attic? And it multiplies. You know, when you keep boxes together, they have children. Yes, they do. I'm telling you. Everything on this planet is sexual, including cardboard, because I could have sworn I only started with 2 boxes in the attic, and now there's 30. They're like bunny rabbits. Just keep popping up. And so what happens as you're older, you're like, oh, I don't want to move. Oh my God, I can't move. I can't deal with this. But guess what happens? Now is the time to make your move, Bill. You want to go now because you want this part of your life to be more enjoyable, more joyful, more blissful, more harmonious, more in alignment with where you are. And don't hold on to think, oh my gosh, holding on to a home. Do you know how many people I know? Now, if you're listening out there, sorry if you think that this is an insult. I'm not meaning to insult you. But do you know how many people I know not only stayed in the same town that they were born and raised in, they also then purchased their parents' home that they grew up in, and they're still living in the same place. No newness, no diversity. No, I mean, oh my gosh, do you only eat spaghetti for dinner every single night for the rest of your life? Life is a smorgasbord. Okay, so I get it. Sometimes people don't want to move. But you know what? They planted their roots, everybody says. Put your roots in a pot, not in the ground. That way you can bring the pot with you and your roots wherever you go. Home is where the heart is. That is a Hallmark movie as well as a card, right? But it's true. Wherever your heart is where you make your home. So, Bill, don't be stuck and stay stagnant where you are right now. Make newness happen in your life because, like I said, we all want to grow and move forward. There's new adventures coming up for you. So, absolutely Go and make that move and don't be afraid. And anybody out there, and here's the thing, the older you are, guess what? Do you know how great it was coming to a restaurant and some young person, 30 years old, held the door open for me because they were being respectful of their elders? I didn't mind that. I still hold the door open for people. My point is, there is always someone who wants to help. I had help. We had wonderful help. My son-in-law, my daughter, my daughter-in-law, my friends. I mean, oh my gosh, there are people out there to help. Ask, open your mouth, but make the move, okay? All right, thank you for that question, Bill. Okay, hey Andy, we have time for one more, so what about it?
Okay, we'll get Dorothy's question in here, Vincent, and she says that I'm 63 years old, and she says it's been over 15 years since she's been in a relationship, and that's since her husband died, and I guess she wants to know what the future might hold.
Yeah, I'm sure she wants to know what the future might hold. Oh my gosh, 15 years not in a relationship. Dorothy, I hope you were listening to the first part of my show when I was talking about women. See, here's my point. Exactly. Women can be out of a relationship longer because they're used to that, but you're still just as vibrant and just as needy and just as deserving of a good companionship and unconditional love. Now, I'm not saying you didn't have it right to start with. Now is a time where you can have it more. It's all right. So you're going to have to open up that door. The first thing you have to do is you're going to have to oil the hinges on the door because I'm sure they're rusted shut. And you want to be able to open that door to your heart all the way. And the way you do that is really simple. You proclaim it. That's how we're capable of manifesting, is by focusing our energy. So this is what you're going to do, Dorothy. You're going to sit quietly, just you, yourself. Of course, it's just you, yourself, unless you have a pet. But you want to be on your own, like you're meditating. You're about ready to meditate, okay? And so you look out into the world, and you look out into the universe, and you ignore the dogs in the background that may be barking, and you say, I'm ready. The door is open. My heart is open. Bring it on. Bring it on now. I am ready for my knight in shining armor, or my princess, whoever you are looking for. It doesn't matter. I am ready. I am deserving of unconditional love. I am deserving of companionship and someone who cares and someone who I can share with. Once you proclaim it and open the door, you've got the opportunity. Now you have to go in and do a lot of work on believing you deserve it, on believing that it doesn't make a difference how old you are. See, women especially are convinced that as they get older, that they're not as desirable. That is just absolutely not true. Everybody is desirable at any age. Well, you want to start when you're a little bit older, okay? But even little kids, though, they experience in school. My grandkids are talking about the boy or the girl who they like, right? Because it's natural. Like I said, we're social, and we want to come together in partnership. So allow the natural. Here's what's happened. For 15 years, Dorothy, you've stopped the process. You've warded it off. It's like you put garlic cloves around your door to get rid of the vampires, okay? Because that's exactly what you have to do to stop the natural process, the natural attraction. Otherwise, there would constantly be guys approaching you, flirting with you, wanting to date you. Now, they may get older as you get older, but it doesn't matter. It's still a part of the natural process. So don't worry about how old you are. Worry about your belief of your desirability, your belief that you're worthy, that you deserve love. Because that's the thing that gets in the way the very beginning, is we lose self-love and we don't believe we're lovable. So change that attitude, Dorothy, and you'll change your outcome. And do me a favor, invite me to the wedding. I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for your questions today. And thank you, Andy, for giving them to me. And let's just end this segment, and I'll be right back just to sum things up and get this show ended. So yeah, I'll be right back.
Vincent will be right back. Meantime, to schedule a private in-person or on-phone, soul-to-soul, psychic medium, or spiritual counseling mentoring session, call 919-480-1401 or email Vincent at believe@vincentgenna.com or click the subscribe button below.
Well, there you go. There you've heard how to reach me. I do private readings on the phone or on Zoom or on Skype all over the world. It doesn't make a difference what your location is. Go to my website at vincentgenna.com so you can see the different classes that I'm doing. I'm actually starting one up on September 10th on how to develop your own psychic and intuitive abilities to receive your own guidance, your own messages, and maybe you even want to be able to do some of this for others. So check out on my website and you'll find out more about that. But make sure you come back here each week because we're going to be talking about a new subject. And you know what? Write in at bloomerboomer.com and there's a contact, there's information over there on how to get in touch with us, and tell me a subject that you may be having trouble with that you would like me to talk about on one of the shows. I always love that. We get our viewers writing in all the time. So drop me an email and let's see what we can get to help you with out there so that you remember that the back nine of your life is not the last years of your life, everybody. They're going to be the best years of your life. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Vincent Genna, your psychic therapist, here on Bloomer Boomer and the Back Nine. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye, everybody.